We have two lines of code in here. Methods are executed sequentially. Method execution starts at the top of the method and will continue to run until it reaches the final curly brace. Each expression inside of the method will be invoked, and then the next expression will be invoked, and then finally, in this particular case, the method will end. When the main method ends, when your entry point ends, your program automatically closes. That's why when I didn't have any expressions inside of this method and I hit F5, we got a console window for a split second and then it disappeared. That's because although this is a valid program to C#, there's nothing actually happening inside of our program's logic. All that happens is our program starts off right here and then it ends, and then the console window disappears. So what we have to do is we have to fill it with expressions. And expressions are commonly entered on separate lines. I'll talk about white space in a moment here. But we know they're expressions. In this particular case, we know they're statements. In this particular case, a statement that executes another method. And you'll notice some very important aspects of the statement. First of all, we have to identify what it is we want the computer to do. We have to explicitly tell the computer we want to invoke the WriteLine method on the console class in the system namespace. Those are what those dots are there for. We want to invoke this method. We know this is a method invocation because of the parentheses right there. The parentheses are significant. And we want to pass in what's called an argument into this method. In this case, a string literal that says hello world. All of the punctuation you see right here is significant, and omitting any of it will cause a compiler error. That includes our terminator. Most expressions that you are going to write, or sorry, most statements you are going to write, end in a semicolon. And semicolons simply inform the C# language that we are done expressing ourselves on this line and wish to move on. So the first thing we do is we instruct the computer to say, well, go ahead and write a line of text. Second thing we do is we tell the computer to hold on before closing the program by waiting for us to hit any key on our keyboard. This method will wait. It'll sit here. Execution will pause on line 6 until we hit a key on our keyboard, and then once we do, execution will continue, but there's nothing left to execute. So it's just going to go ahead and close our program. So again, if I hit F5, we get hello world. If I hit any key, the program goes away.
And how do we know it's the end of the program? Because it's the end of the main method.
Right. Once the entry point is done executing, once we reach what I have right here selected with my keyboard caret, then there is no more program.
At later points in time, we'll be introducing additional methods, of course, and so we'll be calling other methods to perform functions for us. After those methods complete, we will return back to the calling method. We'll continue to return back until at some point we'll return all the way back to the main method. When we're back in the main method and we reach that final closing curly brace, that means we are at the very end of our program and it terminates.
Right. And we already see some examples of method invocations for this. For example, this is an example of something that's provided to us by the .NET Framework itself. It's something that's a part of the BCL that allows us to communicate with the operating system.